Hi, I'm Kyle Kedzik from Shortstop from Tokyo. I play guitar and I do some backup vocals.
How long have you been with the band?
On and off for about 7 years.
All right, what's been your most memorable moment with the band?
There's a lot of, in that amount of time, there's a whole bunch. We played with Mustard Plug at the Beat Kitchen. That was a good one. It was a really good show, really good crowd. Everybody was into ska. I watched the video again of that show, and it worked out really well. Like, everybody played a good part in it and everything like that. I mean, there's a lot of like memories over the years, like just get-togethers and different like concerts that we played, different people that we met, different free booze that we got, like a lot of good times, bad times, and experiences that you'd be interested in. I could go on and ramble about all these different ones, like this one time Jeff and I, and oh, Dave did this, or like whatever with Maddie. We played at Scalpelton. We played a lot of really good venues in Chicago. We played Beat Kitchen. We played at Reggie's and all these other different places. So probably the free beer. That's my favorite memories right there. So.
Do you have a worst memory?
A worst memory? Oh man, not off the top of my head, but I mean, like, a lot of equipment failures. We bought this van at one point, and it was a huge money pit. I mean, every other week it was, well, we need this for the van. We got to get these, we got to get these parts, and I had to go through another guy, and we had a mechanic working on it and stuff. It was really cool that we had it, but at the same time, we were really glad to get rid of it. Yeah, definitely that van. I'll tell you what, that's a memory that I'd like to forget.
Do you have a favorite venue you played over the years?
Yeah, I really liked, like, Beat Kitchen is a really great venue because it's a big, like, wide open space. The food's really good. They have a lot of good drink selections and beers. I had a lot of really great beers there, I'll tell you that much. The Subterranean is a really great venue too for all of you who, are interested in seeing concerts. If any of your favorite local bands play there, it's a good one. Just the green room alone is really cool. Like, and we hung out with like the Frantic and them all, like, when they came through. Reggie's is also another good one here in Chicago. They have like amazing wings. The venue itself is really nice and open. The stage is probably the widest, which is what we needed, having 6 people at one point, and just we moved around a lot, so it was really good. They have like a little bar on the side, and upstairs is like a garden kind of place up there, a beer garden and everything. You can go outside, have a cigarette, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, definitely those venues.
What's been your favorite, like, big name band that you played with?
Big name band? I mean, we played with the Frantic. They were pretty big. I mean, like, we played with the Toasters, of course. We played with the Toasters. They're definitely a cool band. Definitely, if anybody watched Kablam, as a kid, then you know who the Toasters are, and if not, they're really cool. It was neat meeting them. They're kind of like, they were there for a long time in the ska scene, and they're still kicking it up and everything like that. Well, cut that, picking it up, whatever. But anyways, yeah, and then of course Mustard Plug at the end there. Last year we played with them a bunch of times, I think 2 or 3 times, which is weird because Mustard Plug has this thing where they don't like to play with the same band like in the same year, like more than once, and they played with us 2 nights in a row, which is kind of funny or whatever. I mean, some other notable bands, you got like Wastebasket was there, Unplugged and Reborn was around. We played with a band called Car Full of Midgets at one point, but they had like an enormous amount of, I don't want to plug too many, I'll get some phone calls later. Oh, you don't think our band was that good? No, personally I didn't think. I thought we were the best, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, I remember the one show with Mustard Plug. The other 2 bands, like, didn't make it, right?
That's right. Yeah, we ended up having to cover for those bands. We ended up playing like half a set. We had to throw in some old songs, and we jammed a little and just like pulled. I think we played a full like hour and a half that day. Like, I think it was supposed to be like 2 half-hour bands, then us for maybe like a half hour or 45 minutes, and then Mustard Plug got like an hour at the end, and we had to fill like a huge amount of time. I think we took a little 15-minute break, recuperated, got everything back in order again, and then we ended up like pulling that off, and they were like, thanks guys, thanks for saving the show, because these bands, like, I don't even know, like, who wouldn't want to play with them. They had Car Trouble, which was a huge thing over those 7 years. Like, we would find out bands wouldn't show up for Car Trouble, for somebody got sick, somebody lost their job, like a huge endless list of like problems. So
do you have any like venues you like would never play at again, even if you guys like weren't doing your last show?
For the sake of slander, I feel like I shouldn't, but I mean, there was a lot of places that we would walk in and we'd go like, what the hell? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, they would have, like, there would be no stage. There'd be, like, the bar would be lame. The promoters would suck. I forget what they call it now, but we played at a place called Stage 83 for some guerrilla productions thing that's Battle of the Bands, and I would not recommend working with them. Like, if you're, as far as like, if you're in a band or whatever, take what you can get, but it gets to a certain point where if you're playing the same place over and over again, it gets a little tedious. So, I don't know, nothing off the top of my head. I don't wanna create any trouble, but I mean, like, a lot of the smaller bars, there would be some smaller bars we would get booked at, and some are really, really cool. And some, like, we get stiffed out of money. That's not for all small bars. There's a small bar on Ogden in Brookfield called Brixie's, which I go to from time to time, and that is actually a really great venue. The stage literally is like only like a foot or so off the ground, and it's really small. They usually have like local live bands or cover bands that come in there and play. But oddly enough, my last show with Shortstop from Tokyo, we played at Brixie's, and there was a really big crowd in there. It was a 21+ show, which is kind of sad because we didn't get everybody we wanted to in there. But I was told that we made the most amount of money of a single show that we made of profit. It was like at my last show, and I was like, then Austin made a joke. He's like, man, you should just quit every time we play a show because we'll make all this money. So it was pretty funny. I mean, we were never really in it for the money, but it helped pay for a lot of necessary expenses that we had in the band. So
when you left, was it more personal or business?
When I left, it was a little bit of both, actually. I mean, most of it was personal in a way, like nothing personally against the people that I was with in that band, but mostly just I wanted to go a new direction. It was very hard for me to like leave. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I don't want to be one of those people where it's like, oh, I kind of regret, I wish I had done it a couple more years. But it's just like anything, like, good things get a little old. It was a personal thing, nothing too personal, but I just, I felt like it was time for me to get out.
As far as the band playing their, hopefully not final show, but final one for now, was that a mutual agreement to kind of end it for now?
To end it? Yeah, I mean, I heard that they were going to try and find a replacement, and I don't think anything ever came of that. I think everybody just kind of drifted off. It gave Maddie, I know, went on to play. She went to Hawaii to try out for the Hawaiian Royal, orchestra or something to that extent. And we all wished her really good luck. We were hoping she could get the job and move there and all this. And I know she had a lot of good times there. And like, Jeff and I, like, we got some pretty time-consuming jobs and everything. Austin and his girlfriend, like I said, moved out to Phoenix, and they're doing well there, and and Ken's doing his own thing. So yeah, it's it's just, we all agreed it was like, yeah, I think it's time. Like Jeff told everybody, he's like, I don't want to do this without Kyle. I don't want to force anything, and everybody. And I got a lot older in a short amount of time. Like we all matured a lot. And when we all came back together, I mean, we get together frequently, as often as we can, and we go out to dinner and we all go out for drinks and things and talk about this kind of stuff. And we knew we were gonna have a final show. It was just a matter of when we could get Austin to fly in, whether Maddie was gonna get that job, like when everyone was gonna be available. And we have a set date, and we have a couple of venues that we have a couple of venues right now that we're sort of trying to decide which one we're going to do it at, because there's one that's really good and that we can have, but it's too small, and I don't want to like toot my own horn here, but we're going to need some space or whatever, like an adequate amount of space. So but we know we have the date, and I'm sure even if we have to play in someone's basement, we will, but it will be like September 7th or whatever, so hopefully that'll go well.
Now, I don't mean to blow my own horn, but I've been filming for you guys for quite a while. Do you ever watch the old videos, get kind of teary-eyed about, the old,
We've had a recent, at least personally, Jeff and I have watched a lot of the old videos, specifically ones that you filmed. And by the way, you've gotten a lot better at, filming things. So congratulations at that. The old ones were, we're going back all the way back to maybe like 2008, or about that time. It is a little sad, like, to think that we've come so far and did all that for, like all these different people. I mean, like, a lot of people still contact me, or I'll meet somebody like out at a gas station somewhere. I'll be out there, picking up a case of beer, coming out, and they're like, oh, hey, my name's so-and-so, and I remember you from Shortstop from Tokyo. And I'll be like, oh, thanks, man, and and then I'll watch the video and I'll be like, oh yeah, he was there, like, and it's nothing personal. It's just that, I meet so many people, and I met so many people that, and some people still post on our Facebook and stuff like that, and they're like, let me know when the show's gonna be, final shows, like, people are really excited about this, and hopefully we'll see as many people as we can, like, who can all make it. But yeah, we have watched the videos. We watch them, we try to learn from them. We remember songs that never made it onto albums. There was like Saturday Morning Slacker and a few other things, and it's interesting to look at yourself and kind of have that out-of-body experience and realize what a goof you are when you're younger, and you're like, oh, I remember I used to do this. This used to be like a ritual of mine. We used to do this. This person was in the band. Oh, and it's funny because it's like, oh, I didn't remember that. I didn't remember that song. Like, something else, and it is teary-eyed, no, unless we're laughing really hard. But it does feel a little weird, like, when you watch it, and watching the mistakes that you make, and you critique it, and you're like, geez, if I could have gone back, I would have practiced this song more or whatever. And we had a really bad habit of writing a new song and trying to push it to get ready for like the show that was coming up. Like, we wanted new material all the time, and nobody ever waited to have a full complete album like ready that we could have a CD release. Like, it was like, hey, check this out. It was like we were dogs learning new tricks, and we had to show the whole world, you know what I mean? So yeah, but it is interesting to watch it, watch how much like older everybody gets, and like what the different lineups are and how it sounds. The people like yourself that have like loyally come to every single show, like as best as they can and everything like that. So, and we do always really appreciate what the fans always gave to us, and that's why we want to give them this last show. And it's interesting how on stage we're completely different than we are like in person. Like, if you hang out with us, if you spend time with us, like Jeff and I have kind of come to the conclusion that it's kind of like this act, like this sort of like, everybody has a part to play. Everybody, like, there's like this who's who lineup of like, these different characters and everything like that, which is, I find really interesting, because I never really thought of it that way. Like, if we were on stage, I'd wear like, something like this, or I'd wear something ridiculous, and like Dave Ford would always do something silly, or he'd have like his hat and his crazy rolled up pants, and everybody had their own, their own shtick, if you want to call it that. I would be, the drunken kind of whatever guy who would say, I'd say something stupid. I'd try to promote the show that was coming up, or I'd tell everybody about the CDs, and then everyone would go, what? What the hell? Like, what are you talking about? I'd go, I don't know. And Jeff was always like, the front man, and like, it was kind of like I set up the jokes, he knocks them down, and then Maddie was like wild and crazy and being belligerent and swearing at people and just being this crazy chick with her hat, like, oh, trying to get the crowd into it. That was the thing I loved about Maddie the most, is she really tried to get into it and everything like that. And then Ken was like sort of the repressed, like, nobody lets me do whatever I want to do kind of guy. And he was like all straight edge and everything like that. And he got goofy with the fans and everything too sometimes. And Austin was always like Optimus Punk. Like, he always had his hair all crazy, and he always had like, a Stiff Little Fingers t-shirt or something like that. And you should look at some of the pictures of them. I mean, they dressed as hot dogs once. We dressed up for Halloween shows. We would play in basements that are like, closets almost. I mean, these guys, they've been through everything, and they all really like pushed really hard. So it was very interesting, like that, you know, that kind of kayfabe, like that I learned from the wrestler, or at least I learned it from Jeff because he told me about it, about wrestling. But he, you know, he explained it that way, and that's the way I kind of think of it. So I mean, like if you talk to us in person and you talk to us, we all have our own personal experiences and our own grudges. But like when it comes to the actual like final show, we want to make it like vintage Shortstop from Tokyo. I'm not saying for sure that we're going to play a lot of old songs. I can't say for sure. We don't have like a set list or anything, but we want to try, if you could like sum up what Shortstop from Tokyo is as this big like put on play, and you know, it's like, it's kind of like the producers. You could see it with someone else, or you could see it with Matthew Broderick and Nathan Lane. Like you want to see like the classic Shortstop from Tokyo, and that's kind of the experience that we want to put it through. Like we're gonna try and condense everything and take all the bad parts out and all the good stuff, make sure all the equipment works right, and just make sure it runs smooth and entertains the hell out of everybody. So.
Well, one more thing. How did you feel about the Punk News article? Because I remember you guys actually made a little montage video for that one.
That's a fun article. Oh man, you know what? I don't know if I was the first one to read it or not. I'm sure I wasn't. I didn't pay attention to that kind of stuff that much, and people told me about it, and I read it, or I had someone read it to me rather, not because I can't read, just because I like to hear the emphasis. And they read it, and they talked about what a huge rip-off band we were, and about how like it was this bass-driven like performance, and like, you know, it was, you know, if you heard one ska band, you heard them all, and if you've heard them all, then you've heard Shortstop from Tokyo. Like we were, you know, these posers and like these, like, you know, con artists, and we're being silly on stage, and we're not taking ourselves seriously. Or, you know, you shouldn't take your, oh no, they said that we took ourselves too seriously, which everybody who's a Shortstop fan knows that that's a huge, like, you know, whatever. And a lot of fans actually took our side on that, and they posted on this guy, and they were like, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. And we really appreciated that, and we made a funny little song in a video. Jeff edited it, and he gets all the credit for that. And it was pretty good, like, you know. That's just how it is. That's how it is in show business. I mean, if you're gonna mess with us, like, we're gonna get you back. We're the funniest damn people ever. You know what I mean? At least everybody should know. Like, if you're gonna put a jab at us, we're gonna get you back like 10 times as hard. So I mean, like, that guy, whatever. We didn't care. It's not like we were like, oh, it hurts my feelings. You know. Fine by us. We don't care. You know what I mean? It was just like whatever. Like most people gave us reviews. So like, get your skanking shoes on. You know, get your ties and your hats, because these guys are here and they're gonna like make a huge party out of wherever they come. And this guy was just like sitting there, like, you know, putting us down and everything like that. And I was just like, hey, you know what? Whatever. You don't like it? I'm sure that guy didn't even pay to get in. So fuck him.
Any like final things?
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, when we post stuff on, you know, hopefully, you know, this will be online, so everybody will be able to, I mean, I really wish, you know, everybody else could have been here, but everybody's got work and stuff like that. I just came from, you know, from this other job that I do downtown, this advertising thing, so I just want to plug the show. Keep in touch with us, everybody, and just, you know, September 7th this year. I don't know where it's going to be, but please come and show your support one last time, and hopefully we'll give back to you what you give back to us all these years. So.